Everyone. Welcome to today's satsang. Well, let's sit just quietly for a few more minutes. There are a number of more people who are signed up, and then we'll do some guided meditation. Okay, so let's begin. And again, we'll begin with some guided meditation. Then I'll offer some pointers, some teachings, and then we'll have plenty of time for dialogue, Q&A, discussion. Okay. So begin by getting comfortable or being comfortable. If you already are comfortable, settling in your body. Sensing the contact of your body against the surface on which you're sitting. Arms against your legs. Now allow your awareness to drop out of the head where it's so often fixated and drop into the body, into the direct sensate experience, sensing your arms and your legs. Sensing the rising and falling of your chest and belly as you breathe. And experience the sensations from the inside, not as if you are above looking down, but awareness is within the experience itself. Being aware of the play of sensations in the body. The body is a field of sensation. Thoughts and feelings are not a problem. They arise in this space, in this awareness. No need to be in conflict with any experience. Now allow the arbitrary boundary that demarcates inside and outside of the body at the skin to just dissolve. Awareness naturally expanding beyond the body, left and right, front and back, up and down, naturally opening and expanding in every direction. No effort involved. Awareness is by its nature boundless and boundaryless. So being aware of whatever arises inside and outside the body, no longer any clear distinction, one seamless field of awareness. Sounds, smells, tactile sensations are all arising and passing in you, in the vast open awareness that you are. This awareness welcomes whatever arises. No pushing away, no avoiding, just welcoming what is. And as you welcome what is, this welcoming takes on a warm quality, a quality of love, a heart quality, true welcoming, what Nisargadatta calls affectionate awareness, welcoming and embracing what is. And as you rest as this awareness, this warm and welcoming awareness, you may find that the sense of a separate someone welcoming, the sense of a separate someone being aware, naturally falls away. And there's only openness, only welcoming, without someone who welcomes. And as you continue to rest, as this welcoming openness, this welcoming awareness, this global, all-embracing awareness, allow attention to return, to turn back to this body, this being, sitting here, and with that same quality of openness, welcome whatever feelings, whatever experiences may be arising in you, in this body mind, any residual sadness or anger or fear, or frustration or grief. Embrace your experience just as it is. Nothing left out. Everything included. Allow any feelings that may have not been fully felt, fully experienced to unfold, to reveal themselves in this welcoming awareness. And you may be inviting back in feelings that you've avoided or banished to a dark corner of your psyche. Now you're welcoming wholeness, fullness of experience. Resting awareness is not an escape, it's an embrace. Continue to rest as this boundaryless openness, embracing all of your experience. Sit in the wholeness and completeness of what you are. Okay, you can let go of the formal meditation, but of course continue to rest as this openness, as this welcoming awareness. So welcome to this satsang, everyone. Does anyone have anything to ask or say about the meditation? Anything to share before we go on a bit? Not that there's any place to go, but we can just stay here indefinitely. In fact, we will, but we'll talk a little more. Yes, Ilona.
So, is my volume okay? Because I forgot to put on my headset.
You're good.
Okay. I wanted to pretend like I'm a beginner and say, why do we meditate? And, understand that it's really good for other people that we meditate because it tends to make us calmer. But also, it seems as though it's good to meditate because we need to spend some time at home. Like if we're going to identify with anything, we would want to identify with who it is we really are, rather than being distracted by the news and all day long, or all of our waking hours. So I'm just wondering if you could speak a bit about identifying with our home, our essential nature.
Identifying with it. I don't know, you said it very well. I don't have anything to add. Ultimately, there's no reason to meditate. We meditate for the joy of being. We can come up with good reasons, of course. But,
see, to me, it often feels like a pill I need to take.
Okay. Well, don't force yourself to take the pill. Find a way, perhaps, to engage in it in a way that isn't doing violence to yourself, huh? In fact, maybe if you stop trying to do it, the word trying, of course, is problematic, and doing it because you feel you should, and just do it when you feel drawn to do it, but genuinely drawn. In other words, if you really tune in to what you feel drawn to do, in your heart, in the core of your being, then you may find that you're drawn to meditation, and then the meditation, there will cease to be that split or that conflict.
That's really lovely, thank you. And I even like to call it sitting almost instead of meditation.
Sitting. I like sitting. It's great. Yeah. Thanks, Sylvia. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Aliyah.
Hi.
Hi there.
I'm you. I just found you through John Prendergast.
Oh, lovely to see you.
Yeah, nice to sit with you. So I guess I raised my hand because I wanted to say hello and thank you. And I don't want to get into story right now. Maybe I can just speak from experience, just what's here.
Yes, beautiful.
So there's aliveness and gratitude. The meditation was beautiful. There's aliveness. So there's the pull. I found you through this whole path that is around Kashmiri Shaivism and Shakti, I guess, and the energy that is moving through this body. And I guess looking for, in a way, being guided to find teachers that can support this unfolding, which is really beautiful. Like it's just love. It's love.
Yeah, it's love. Yeah.
It's
Beautiful.
love. And the love is here, and the joy,
Great. Beautiful.
and it's all about all the baby. I just say babies because that's what it feels like. Even in the meditation, beautiful arising of something that
Yes.
felt was courageous enough to come up in awareness, in the love,
Uh-huh.
to be
Right.
held, to be
Exactly.
seen.
Love welcomes
Oh,
it all, and
and it's
creates
just,
a space in which whatever wants to arise can
yeah,
arise.
and it comes, just the stomach rolls, and it just comes.
Great. Beautiful. Beautiful. Yeah.
So I guess I wanted to express that.
Beautiful. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
And maybe if you could just speak to this is all new. I didn't know about spirituality or religion or anything until about 3 years ago, when
So you had a spontaneous arising of Kundalini. Is that what you're describing?
I don't, there's a reluctance here to even name it.
Of course. Of course.
It's just,
Some transformative energy.
yes. Yeah, yes, and it came through, great dark time, and well, depression, anxiety, marriage breakup, mother dying.
Right.
I wouldn't say it was a woke up one morning. But it's becoming more and more
Right. Right.
what's happening, and
Well, it sounds like it's a graceful process right
it's
now.
lively.
It's lively. It's really moving you in many
Yes, it's
ways.
very somatic.
So far not problematic, which is great.
No.
So I would trust the process.
Yeah. Oh,
Just trust the process. It's grace, huh? It's grace.
it's grace. So there's this sense of knowing that I don't need outside help. It's all here. The divine mother is just here. But there's a pull to you, to teachers who know, who get it.
Sure.
Because who can get this?
Exactly.
Even many people who are on the spiritual path. It's
right.
different.
And there's a pull to share this with someone else, with other people, to resonate together in the truth of what you're awakening to.
There is.
That's what Sangha is, There's something about Sangha, being together in truth in this way, which is very powerful.
Yes.
So I understand the draw, the pull.
Yeah. So is it something to perhaps work with a specific teacher? Because there is all the terror and fear that comes up to be seen as well. So
It's possible that might be helpful.
Okay.
Something worth exploring. I mean, if you want to contact me outside of this, and maybe we talk about doing that.
Okay.
In whatever way feels good for you. I'd be happy to explore that with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome, Amelia. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Having someone to guide us, to support us in this process, even if it's graceful, sometimes just knowing someone's there and can help clarify what's going on, sharing what's going on can be very, very helpful, very powerful. Yeah. Feels that
would be helpful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Amelia. Yeah. Yeah. Helen. Yeah. I see your hand up. Yeah. Whoops, you have to unmute yourself. Yeah.
I wanted to tell you about my kind of breakthrough this week. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
Well, I've had a lot of success with hypnosis in the past, self-hypnosis. So I put in there that I wanted to have the thinning of myself, the thinning of self, and thinning of self, or, the enlightenment experience, or the waking up experience. So what happened today, and I've been meditating for about 15 years, I ran into a book that I read before, but it just blew my mind open. It's called Open Focus Brain by Les Femi. And he talks about how our society, we're learned to do that narrow focus. And, the diffuse focus is a more relaxed, welcomes everything. I have taught myself to have that, the deep focus that most people learn. But I realized I can relax back and listen to sounds while I talk, while I do things. And then the sense of self is not so prominent anymore. And then I can welcome everything.
Well, that's the difference between the approach that I teach, and I'm not alone, of course, there are many people that teach this more direct approach, in which the meditation doesn't have a focus. It's more receptive awareness, you could say, open, unfocused, boundaryless, as opposed to, let's say, mindfulness or some kind of concentration practice in which you are focused on an object, the breath, mantra, whatever it might be. So there are different approaches. The one uses concentration as a way through concentration out into openness. That's supposedly the intention, but people tend to get caught up in the focus indefinitely. The other just is an invitation to go directly to our natural state, which is boundaryless openness. See, when we do a meditation in which we're opening to this boundaryless awareness, we're simply returning to our natural state. Awareness is, by its nature, boundaryless, boundless, you see. So we're not generating anything, we're not producing anything, we're simply returning home to what we are. See? So that's the approach that I teach, others teach in this tradition. So.
But I've heard it a million times, and it wasn't until the right brain, left brain, and how I've taught myself, because I was an A+ student, to narrow my focus. So sure, I could get some relaxation when I meditated, but I couldn't bring it really in my everyday life that well. But now I totally get it. I can feel that relaxation in the background. I mean, so it's huge for me.
Sometimes we have to hear it in a particular way that really, kind of snaps into place for us. It really, we get it in that moment. So that was the book that really clarified.
Well, it was at the right time because I read it before too.
Okay. The right time. Timing is everything. Yes.
Yeah.
Great. Wonderful. Thank you, Helen. Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's an important distinction. And, we're going directly, the direct approach. We go directly to our natural state. Huh?
But if you've been trained to have that narrow focus,
I understand, yes.
It's just like you don't really get it.
Well, that's why we teach it that way.
Okay, but I heard it and heard it and heard it.
Yes. Great.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Fixation of attention is actually the cause of suffering. If you really examine what causes us suffering, it's when the mind gets fixated on something and perseverates, contracts around a particular topic, turns something into a problem, basically, through fixation of attention. So this openness is not only our natural state, it's the antidote to the tendency to fixate.
Can I say one other thing on that?
Okay.
Now my mind still fixates at times, but this open awareness sees that it's fixating and kind of just says it stays relaxed while I'm fixating.
Right. Exactly. Because again, it's always present as the background of whatever is occurring. Yeah. Great. Thank you. Yeah. Yes. Sam. Hello, Sam. My distant cousin.
Yes. It's been a little bit. It's very cool to see you again.
Hi there.
Yeah, just thank you. I just wanted to say hi and thank you.
Hi there.
Yeah, an interesting moment of this for me just now was.
It's a little hard to hear you, getting a little feedback there.
Give me one moment. Is that better?
There's a little like reverberation feedback going on.
I'm gonna switch microphones. Just one moment.
Okay.
Is that better?
Yes, that's better. Uh-huh.
Oh wait. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, hear you fine.
Come back to me. I can't hear myself.
Oh, okay.
Or you.
Okay. Anyone else want to share anything or have any questions? So I was going to talk a little bit. I'll throw out some pointers, some points for consideration, and then we can dialogue about them. This satsang, the class I did that ended last week, subsequent satsangs I'll be doing in June and July, are responses, you could say, and opportunities to reflect together on this unprecedented situation we find ourselves in, right? I think it's a powerful opportunity for us. I mean, it's also a hardship for many people. For some of us, our lives haven't changed all that much. For others, who've lost their job, who've gotten sick, who have a lot of economic uncertainty, who are trapped at home in difficult situations, perhaps. It's been a difficult time, but it also offers us spiritually, as many crises do, an opportunity. And one of the ways, some of you perhaps have read the little blog post, essay I wrote about what I saw as the three facets or four facets of this experience of the groundlessness of renunciation, vulnerability, and interbeing. If you haven't, it's on my blog, on my website. But one of the things that's going on for so many of us is that because of the uncertainty of the situation, which doesn't really promise to clear up any time in the foreseeable future. In other words, we have no idea how long this virus will continue to reverberate, how much we're going to have to restrict ourselves, how it's going to affect the infrastructure, the supply chain, the economy. We have no idea. So the uncertainty is really, unprecedented, I would say, in our lifetime. Anyway, I guess in World War II there were there was a similar uncertainty. Perhaps World War I, the Spanish flu. So in our lifetime, this is an unprecedented level of uncertainty, and also an unprecedented level of not being able to look outside ourselves for some kind of security, particularly in the West, in the United States or in Europe, in the developed world. We've had a sense of economic, more or less, economic stability. We had the recession of 2008, 2010, of course, and so there have been some downturns, but suddenly we're thrown into a great deal, unprecedented for us again, uncertainty, and we're thrown back, I would say, almost entirely on our inner resources. The deeper ground, finding deeper ground in challenging times. Do we have a deeper ground? Can we find the deeper ground? Are we grounded in the deeper ground, the groundless ground? And what do we need to do to get there? So suddenly these classes, these satsangs are becoming really important for people as a way of coming home, you know? I think we have lived with the illusion that we could endlessly improve our lives, you know? Endlessly improve them technologically, endlessly improve them economically, endlessly improve them spiritually, you know? The New Age is a kind of the promise of endless self-improvement, you know? If you think the right thoughts, you'll get the house and the car and the partner and the career that you really want, you know? But that whole paradigm exists in a world with a certain amount of certainty, yeah. But the ground has been forcefully ripped out from underneath us, right? We look down and we don't see any stable ground anymore, right? In the usual material sense. To the degree that we become accustomed to it, you know? Can I get the products I really need? Can I find a job? It used to be, for example, that given my skills, I knew what I could expect. I knew what was out there. I knew what the competition was, for example. Suddenly, that's not the case anymore, you know? I work as a therapist, a counselor with someone who is a headhunter he's been a headhunter for tech companies in Silicon Valley, and suddenly that whole headhunter world of jobs and job seekers is thrown into kind of chaos. Who's out there? What jobs are out there? We don't know. Okay. So the ability to rely on this sense of endless promise and possibility, because we've lived in a world in which, you know, despite certain bumps and bruises and ups and downs, we've been endlessly going up, you know, for the last 150 years perhaps, right? Who knows where it's going to go now? Not that, you know, may it continue to go up, but who knows, you know? So we're thrown back on this deeper ground. What do we know for sure? Where can we go for the deepest kind of security, no matter what is happening outside of us? Do we have a place inside? Do we have a refuge? Again, it doesn't have to be anything solid. In fact, as I've talked about before, the very groundlessness of reality, the emptiness of substantiality, of anything to hold on to itself, can become a profound ground once it's realized, deeply realized in one's being. We can take refuge in that, in the groundless ground, in emptiness, which is also life itself, being itself. Right? Being itself doesn't promise anything. It's just constantly refreshing and renewing moment after moment in the now. Each moment, in fact, is uncertain. Who knows what's going to arise next? That's the nature of reality. but we've come to rely on certain expectations, a certain map of reality that we've come to take security, take comfort in. And so the maps have been torn up, right? We don't know the terrain anymore. We're going to have to draw new maps, and even those are going to have to be tentative, right? And be torn up again and again and again. So we're thrown back on the groundless, on the uncertainty. Can we live in that groundlessness, you know, and find a ground there? I think that's what we're being called upon to do, right? You know, the content, to whatever degree we've come to identify with the content of our experience, the content of awareness, you know, the material world, our assets and liabilities, our, you know, our relationships, our career, all of that, which is the content, but not who we really are. Okay, now that the content is being pulled away, is being thrown into uncertainty, what can we know for sure, right? To discover ourselves as the context, you know, not the objects of awareness, but as the ground of awareness itself. You see our deeper ground, which is awareness, which can't be grasped by the mind, can't be solidified, but is that which is experienced in each moment, that which is undisturbed in the midst of total chaos. Right? That's what we're being called upon to discover. Fortunately, it isn't total chaos yet, but who knows, you see. So the kind of approach that we teach is often talked about in the Zen tradition. It's said, die before you die, huh? Because when we die, all the certainty falls away. All the structures fall away, you know? Everything we thought we knew, everything we thought we had, everything we thought we could rely on, dissolves into the unknown, dissolves back into the unknown, right? From where it came, see? So many traditions talk about spirituality as a preparation for that moment. In Zen, we say, or Zen says, to die before you die, to die into the unknown now, so that when death occurs, it's not a big deal, see, because you've already died to who you take yourself to be, you've died to your expectations, you've died to your beliefs about how reality should be, and you've been reborn in the now, which is all that ever existed anyway, huh? So in that sense, this is a powerful invitation, okay? It may be scary, and of course we want to welcome the fear, you know? We may feel grief for the losses we're experiencing. We want to welcome the grief. We may feel angry and frustrated at how limited we've become. Again, we want to welcome the anger, the frustration, but at the same time, to welcome them from this deeper ground, in this deeper ground. So the meditation we did at the beginning was an invitation to come to rest as awareness, huh? Boundaryless openness, without a resting place, without a focal point, not localized anywhere. Okay. This awareness has existed before the body came into being. It will exist after the body dies. It's expressing itself now through this body-mind, but it is itself eternal. So here is our opportunity to wake up to the deathless, the birthless, huh? Which has never been born and has never died, and will be undisturbed no matter what happens. Huh? So we're both welcoming our experience as it is, as we did at the beginning, but we're resting as this boundless openness that we are and welcoming this very human experience, absolute and relative, intimately intertwined and interconnected, not separate in any way. So that is the invitation that we've been given. Now we've got our RSVP to the invitation. It's our opportunity, folks. So, so that's a little, some thoughts on the current situation. Poor people in underdeveloped or whatever, developing countries throughout the world have known this level of uncertainty from time immemorial. It's just those of us in the affluent, developed world who are discovering it. People in Bangladesh or in Brazilian favelas or in poor places all over the world have known this uncertainty, for forever, basically. So I think we in the developed West, and developed East as well, are being introduced to this, and it's our guru thing. This is our guru right now. So are we going to listen to the words of the master and find the lessons therein? This is our opportunity. Huh? So any questions, any thoughts on this? What does this bring up for you? Yeah. The other thing I was reflecting on is how so many people who come to me, let's say for counseling, are really hard on themselves. Why haven't I achieved more than I've achieved? Pushing ourselves to get someplace, to have some accomplishment, to make a certain amount of money, and then this throws this whole enterprise into question. It's like, all of that achieving, all of that, which has been taking place within this very narrow framework that we live in, the walls have been blown apart, and now we're seeing it all in this much bigger context, huh? The context of uncertainty, groundlessness, being itself. So, any thoughts, any reflections, any questions about this? Let's see who's got their hand up here. Oh, Sam. Yeah, we were gonna are you ready?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sounds
okay,
good.
Better. Excellent. Thanks. Yeah, I mean, in line with what you were just saying about being unkind to ourselves and having these expectations, something that happened for me during the meditation, I think just before you brought it up in your guidance, I began to think of a couple of people that had passed, and then just difficult feelings and fears, and then you brought up you may be having these things arising in you, and just let it be there, feel it, and that was a really powerful directive for me, because I think normally if those feelings or memories or whatever do come up during a meditation, my thinking or feeling is that I have to push that away in order to get to this clear state. And oh no, why are those fears there again? Why are those thoughts there again?
Oh, that's so common. And so I really invite you all to consider, because this is the way I teach it. Of course, there are different approaches to meditation, but the approach that I teach is that everything is welcome.
Yeah.
That's why it's called non-dual. Non-dual means nothing left out. So a non-dual approach to meditation is to sit as awareness and welcome whatever arises. Because we're wanting to heal the splits within our psyche, as well as within our world, between inside and outside, but also the splits inside between the clear part and the unclear part. And let's bring it all together in the openness that we are, in that space of awareness. That's why also I don't teach some kind of focused meditation, because any focus tends to divide the mind. There's the focus, and then there's what's outside the focus. It's like you have a laser beam of attention, and then whatever's in the shadows is excluded. So then when we open, like the sky, sometimes called the sky of mind, there's open awareness, there's no shadow. Everything is welcomed, everything is included, embraced. Huh? So absolutely, I really recommend that approach to meditation.
Yeah, and just one other thing is, like, along those same lines, I think I also think of meditation, or at least like that open awareness state, as, I still think of it sometimes as this like state that I have to like create, or like to get there, right? I've got to like take away this and then put this in, and it was very helpful to me just now to like remember that, like, oh, it's not contingent on me, it's just there, and I can just right.
That's beautiful, great.
So,
yeah,
thanks.
exactly. It is already. Sometimes people say it's always already what you. It's always already what you are.
Yeah.
And you need to go home. That's all. Yeah. Just return home. As Nisargadatta said, all you need to do is find out your source and take up your headquarters there. Which I thought was pretty good advice. Yeah.
Good. Thank you.
Thank you, Sam. Yeah, are you still in school, or are you graduated?
No, I completed my master's degree, but I didn't go on to the PhD. So I'm right now I'm working as a tech headhunter, actually, which is unlikely.
Okay.
You just brought up.
Well, take care. Good to see you.
You too. Good to see you.
Yeah, Sam is actually a distant cousin. We just discovered one another. He discovered me, actually. So, yeah, take care.
Good to see you.
Yeah, Lou, you had your hand up.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi there, Lou. Yeah.
Nice to see you. Thank you for
Good to see you. Yeah, it's been a while, but it's great to see your face.
Yeah, nice to be here. One of the things that your talk brought up for me is the idea that I touch on, but I don't really own, I would say, that at the level of being, or from the standpoint of the non-dual understanding, everything that is happening in perfect order in some way. And how do we hold that idea along with the fact that it's clear from a human standpoint that there's so much suffering and so much, so many people are having really, really difficult times?
Right. Well. First of all, as I know we're not talking about perfect versus imperfect.
Right.
So when we really understand that perfect really means just as it is, really is more what perfect means. It just is as it is. It can't be compared to anything. In other words, what is complete and perfect as it is. It's not perfect compared to imperfect. It just is, you see. And as it is really what perfection is. See? I don't know if that's making sense, but it's purely what it is. It couldn't be otherwise. That's what it means. Couldn't be otherwise. That's what it means by perfect. Yeah. So even the most violent, horrible things that happen, seemingly evil and self-serving and misguided and ignorant, are also as it is, you see. The mind can't wrap itself around it, you know. And because the mind will try to compare and contrast, it'll try to analyze. So it simply is what it is, you know. And awareness is simply welcomes whatever it is. See? So as long as we have an argument with what is, then, you know, and of course, as human beings, we're always going to have an argument with what is, and that's fine. And that's, you know, Suzuki Roshi, my first Zen teacher, said, we're constantly losing our balance against a background of perfect balance. Right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, we're constantly getting caught up. We're constantly, you know, we're getting reactive. We're constantly wanting it to be different from the way it is. All of that's just very human. And all of that's occurring in this boundless openness, you see, which is always in perfect balance, you see. So to whatever degree we're in resistance to what is, first of all, we're going to suffer. And then also the cause of the suffering, we are separating ourselves from what is. We're standing apart from it and judging it from some perspective, from some point of view. It shouldn't be that way, right? Mm-hmm. And then we're caught in a point of view. Again, that's a kind of fixation of attention, right? So ultimately, we're being asked to welcome it as it is, with an open heart, you know? And that open heart may include the grief of the loss we may experience, or the frustration and anger at you know, the stupid things that are being done by leaders in the world. You know, we think stupid things, you know, whatever. All of that is occurring as well, and that's being welcomed as well. See, there's a background that is undisturbed, and ultimately, you and I and everyone is that background. See, that is our essence. And at the same time, you know, we have our feelings and our preferences. So those two are never separate, you know. So we have to realize the role of awakening is to realize ourselves as the essence, as the background, which is inevitably always undisturbed, and come to rest there. And from that place, we live our human life through these human bodies that we are given. And, you know, I often say, each of us has a karmic bundle that we are handed, you know?
Right.
That karmic bundle is, you know, all the conditioning, the inherited traits and qualities, our fixation on the Enneagram, you know, whatever it might be. And all of that is our bundle, you know, that's what we get to work with. That's what awareness, our true nature, boundaryless awareness, gets to work with in this lifetime, and to find liberation through. And that's the mystery of it.
And somehow, Stephen, that field of awareness includes the karmic bundle.
That's right, absolutely. Includes everything.
Yeah.
Includes everything. But somehow, each of us is living that awareness through a particular bundle, you know. You feel it in your body, you know. This body is bound in a certain way. It's not boundless. It's not, you know, can't do anything, you know. Right. It's got its limitations. Same with the psyche, the brain, you know, all that stuff. It's got its limitations, and that's what we work through. And we can bow to those limitations, have utmost love and compassion for our limited being in form, you know, and at the same time know that who we really are is this boundless awareness getting to play in the world of the human, you know, in the world of form.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And, you know, I would ask you, just briefly, how does the work you do in Diamond Heart, how does it interface with that? Just briefly, I know that's not the topic here, but I would be very interested in your reflection. Lou is a teacher of the diamond heart approach, diamond approach, Hamid Ali's approach.
Well, we would certainly hold the view from the space of, our boundless awareness that each moment is complete and as it is. And the practice itself is very much, the structure of it is very much focused on sort of the human stuff. So it does ultimately end up being sort of bringing in the human foibles and looking through the looking glass of the karmic bundle. I really like that term. It's a wonderful term.
So it's very similar in that sense. I mean, it's really about finding the ways that this boundaryless awareness that we are manifests through this body mind and expresses itself, and allowing those to come to fullness, fruition, right. Something like that. Yeah.
Right. Maybe with a little more emphasis on some of the psychological barriers and seeing through them in a direct way.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and of course, as a psychotherapist, I'm very interested in that as well. So, yeah. I think beautiful work it is. The diamond approach is beautiful work. Yeah, thank you, Lou, for sharing that. Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen.
Someone else want to share? Yeah. I've been reading a little Kabbalah.
Garrison is keeping waving his hand.
Okay, just 1 second. I'll be right there. I've been looking a little into Kabbalah and just exploring Kabbalah, just to see what they're up to, and their understanding is that the divine is pure light. That's one way to look at it, manifesting into this world of form through what are called the sephirot, the lights, basically, the branches on the tree of knowledge, and also each one is a different quality of being that manifests in the world. The light refracting into form. So that's another way to look at it. Similar, I think, to the diamond approach. Yeah, Garrison, did you have something? Yeah.
I was interested in what you said about body and psychic limitations. Sorry, allergies. And I've partaken a online Buddhist meditation group these days, and most of them are in New York City, the people who join in. And it was plain to see the other night that people's nerves were beginning to fray.
Of course.
And these are people who are meditating every day. Maybe they're taking the wrong path.
Well, no, this is a very trying circumstance. So even if we have the resource of meditation, I think we're being stretched to our limits.
So I was just wondering about that, because earlier, of course, you had said that part of us that cannot be disturbed by anything that's going on around us. But then I think, there might be something in our DNA that makes us very social animals. And I just wonder, to what extent it's possible, really.
Yeah, I'm not putting up an ideal for you to try to live up to. What I'm pointing to is, again, in fact, quite the opposite. I'm inviting you to embrace your humanness, our humanness, for all its limitations, but who we really are, which we can touch into, rest as, for as long as we can, and ultimately know ourselves to be is undisturbed. So there is a place of peace and joy, you could say, even in the midst of, the greatest turmoil. So, again, not something that we can sustain necessarily in this human life for long periods of time. So again, we're not trying to live up to some perfect ideal. At the same time, we're aspiring to live as this as much as we can, to wake up to it, to live as this as much as we can. So there's a kind of interesting balance there. I've explored that. On the one hand, we're not trying to perfect ourselves. It's not about self-improvement. On the other hand, we're aspiring to be as peaceful and as open and as free as we possibly can. So both are true simultaneously.
God, thank you.
Yeah, like Suzuki Roshi said, he said some cute things. I love his sayings. He said they're always paradoxical, and he understood the paradoxes so beautifully. He said, "You're perfect as you are, and you could use a little improvement." So
There we go.
that kind of sums it up.
Yeah, I think so.
Covers all the bases. Yeah. Thanks, Garrison.
Thank you.
Stephen,
Yes.
this is Shirley.
Hi, Shirley. Yeah.
Hello, yes. I just wanted to express appreciation for your reminder of the welcoming. That's of course something I've heard many times and bring to my own mind too as a reminder, but it seems that of course those places of being stuck is what we don't remember to welcome, right? And it's so when there's that kind of perhaps this reminder that comes in a different form, and it's just kind of surprising how it's like, wow, I just had no idea that I was not welcoming that.
Absolutely. Well, I think we get in the habit, and it becomes just completely unconscious of avoiding certain parts of our psyche. We have these little encapsulated shadow parts that live on the fringes, and we just kind of don't really want to look there. We're kind of here, and then out in the fringes is this other material that we're trying to avoid. And we do it so automatically that even in our meditation, maybe even especially in our meditation, if we become really good meditators, we get to push it to the sidelines, and avoid it, and have this beautiful, lovely, open, tranquil space, and then all these screaming children in the background, wanting our attention, but we can't hear them because we've created this glass partition, So that's why this approach to sitting in openness is to really break down all the walls. Or let them fall. You don't have to break anything down, but let the walls fall. And to really, and that's why we did this approach to meditation, deliberately invite them in can be really good. So today what we did was to open to this boundless awareness, this welcoming that we are, and then to return for all of that material that we've repudiated, pushed away. So I think that can be a helpful thing to do from time to time, sitting in that.
With circumstances, of course, conditions changing, I have a sense that these fixations can come in such novel forms too, or kind of get hidden in a different way because of the changing conditions and
That's right.
unfamiliarity and
Absolutely, absolutely. And this current situation is going to stir up, is not going to, is stirring up all kinds of stuff that we didn't even know was there, possibly. It's like, wait a second, I'm not a, I'm generally a very, confident person. I don't have any insecurities. This is not who I am. And suddenly, oh my God, I'm really scared, or, I'm really calm. Nothing ever ruffles me. I'm really pissed off, It's like, whoa, this is really stirring some stuff up for people, I'm sure. And again, an opportunity to welcome whatever arises, big time, big time. Not only in ourselves, but in everyone, Yeah. Again, I always come back to The Guest House, that beautiful poem by Rumi. Those of you who haven't read it, please read it. Again, I say Rumi, but it's actually translated by Coleman Barks. So I want to nod to Coleman Barks as well, because I'm sure the translation owes as much to Coleman Barks as it does to Rumi. But the sense of we are the guest house, welcoming whatever arises, the dark thought, the shame, the malice. Meet them at the door laughing and invite them in, right? So welcoming whatever comes, no matter how seemingly difficult, negative, unwanted. That's the approach to meditation that we want to have. Everything is welcome here. Again, I always say non-dual means nothing left out. There's a tendency in the Advaita tradition, the Indian non-dual tradition, Advaita Vedanta, to kind of push away the world of form. There's a subtle or even not so subtle preference for the formless, the absolute, and a sort of repudiation, avoidance of the world of the feelings and the relationships and things. So my teacher Jean Klein was very much influenced by the Kashmir Shaivite tradition, which is tantric, and Zen itself is also has a very strong tantric element to it, which is to welcome everything, not pushing this away and preferencing the absolute pure clarity, it's all embraced. We have about 5 more minutes. Anything else? Anyone else want to share or ask or engage? Yeah, Anne-Marie. Hi there.
Hi, Stephen. Hi, everyone. So I had never heard that before, Stephen, that, what did you say, non-dual can be defined as not leaving anything out? Sorry, what was the words again?
Nothing left out.
Nothing left out. I guess that's brilliant, because I've always just been trying to focus on the merge or the or the oneness or the non-separation, whereas
right.
This is a much more open definition.
Yeah. We're not looking to merge. Merging is an experience that comes and goes.
Okay.
What we're looking to do is be, to be all of it, to be that awakened awareness in which everything is included, which is really the breakdown of separation, as you said, to feel this continuity, that there's, interbeing is a beautiful term that Thich Nhat Hanh coined. I think
Right.
interbeing, I like interbeing even better than oneness. We
Yes.
inter-are, we inter-are. So it's
Inter-are.
inter-are, right. So it's interbeing. So to realize our interbeing, you know, our inseparability.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Of course, there is this body mind here and that body mind there, and you know we have to stay 6 feet apart now, right? So, so we better know where we leave off and the other person begins. Otherwise, they get arrested.
I know. So Stephen, and I'll share share just a funny story. So, okay, so with this whole awareness and how this is a guru, right? That this is an opportunity to learn. So I'm in a part of the world that has not been greatly affected. We've been very careful. We've followed everybody's advice. We've only had 27 cases. Okay, so truly blessed, and we've done our work. So yet I'm at the grocery store. I get into my car and there's somebody in front of me with New Jersey plates. So that is I'm in Canada, that's out of province, that's out of country. And so normally I'd be very open. I'd be, hey, come on, great to see you. You know, it's great to see you. Come visit our island. I was like, hey, how did you get on this island? Did you self-isolate for 14 days? Where'd you come from? Hey?
Yeah.
So even just the noticing in the instant, that instinctual contraction, that instinctual self-preservation that occurred without any.
That's right. And beautiful is you could just be aware of it.
Oh no, come on, I followed them, Stephen.
You did?
I'm teasing. I did.
You write down the license plate number?
Yeah, I did, and I called it in. There's somebody from New Jersey on PEI. What are they doing here?
Great. Yes, these are strange times, aren't they? Oh boy. Thank you, Edward. Yeah, great. Okay, everyone, we just have a few more minutes. Let's sit quietly and just together as we come to the end. Thank you, everyone. Beautiful to be together. Let's stay. I'll be offering more songs in the next few months, so you can check out my website if you're interested. And take good care of yourselves, okay?
Thank you, Stephen.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Stephen.
Stephen.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you,
Stephen.
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Stephen. Bye.
Thank you.